Hello everybody, this is a response to Mike's challenge. I'm going to make this real quick. What I'm holding here, it's a 240-page book which I filled with flaws in booking with companies and also my own ideas. And I've summarized it into 2 pages which I feel are the biggest problems, and I'm going to go through them for you. One of them's quite a minor problem and it's easy to fix. The announcing. One of the biggest problems I have is there is no appropriate use of dramatic silence for effect. An example of this is Hardy and Orton. When Hardy did the swanton bomb off the top of the fucking thing onto Orton, we didn't hear anything. We let the announcer just let it go, play out, and it gave it a dramatic effect. They also use this effect in movies. If you have someone commentating the whole time, it does become quite irritating after an 84-minute show that you have 82 minutes of announcing. My next problem is Kurt Angle, and just let me explain it. We have a 40-year-old ex-WWE guy who's the top guy in TNA. With the most talented roster in the world, TNA has done the worst thing they could do, that is have a myopic view on talent. Angle has been in the main event for 15 of the past 16 pay-per-views and has put 2 people over, Tomko and Lethal, who were both ruined by bad booking. Not only does Kurt Angle being placed at the top of TNA make WWE talent look better, but it takes away from TNA's brand name and makes TNA look like WWE Light. I'm not saying he should be put at the bottom of the card, I'm saying he should still be in the main event, but he shouldn't be used as the main draw for TNA when they have a larger roster, and they could be using him to make newer draws. And my solution for that is Kurt should have won the title still, because I still feel he should have won the belt at Slammiversary. I'm sorry for the coughing. But should have dropped it to Joe for Bound for Glory in their first encounter for the title, so it would have been a dream match for the title at the biggest show of the year, and it would have been, would have sold like crazy, because originally it was just a quick, they just went straight into a dream match, and it still did well for them. And then Kurt Angle could have gone on to run programs with TNA homegrown talent and traded victories with them to make them seem on par with the elite of professional wrestling. Okay, my next problem is shit storytelling. They're building up things just to do the opposite. An example is Tomko. They built him up as a certain way for months and months and months. Yeah, it pissed him off, he'd hit you. Then one week we had, Tomko beat Angle, which was good. And the next week we had, we had Tomko in a match with Angle. Cage interfered. Tomko was pissed off about it. Cage came out to the ring and said, "I know you want to hit me." And the Tomko everyone knew would have hit him, because the fans were saying, "Fucking hit him." And then he didn't do it and he left, and the next week he helped Cage out. And then on the pay-per-view, he did the opposite of what they were building to, but of course we all saw it coming, and that was Tomko came out and did the same thing that AJ did the last month, which is why it was predictable and why it was a stupid ending. Ruined a good match, and ruined Tomko's character, because now he's a plotting, scheming, whatever, when he was a simple character before, and that was what everyone liked about him. You knew where he stood on everything. And the reason they do this is to extend feuds and things like that, but it's a sort of shark in the water tactic if you keep shocking people, because it was big in the 90s with the Attitude Era. They think that that's still going to work, but it's not 1999 anymore. The way you do it is just stop trying to extend feuds and run shorter, simpler programs. I'll touch on this a little bit later in the video, or maybe next, I'm not sure. Next thing is clean finishes. More clean finishes, please. This is a personal problem I have with the product. Not everybody agrees with me. We've seen 2 non-finishes for the past 2 pay-per-views in a row, just to, and I mentioned this earlier, extend storylines and shock people, because it's done so much that it's not shocking anymore. Now, if you can't book a clean finish, you shouldn't be putting the match on in the first place. It's a simple concept. Or these no finishes should happen on Impact and things like that, and all the tag matches they keep putting on to extend the feuds should be put on Impact. But I'll talk about that in a second. Next point: every show should be a standalone, not completely standalone. but not part of a greater scheme. It shouldn't be chapter 5 in an 11-chapter story. You should have, you can have continuity, but each episode should not just be another part of something else. See, if I miss an episode of Impact, I don't know what the hell's going on anymore, because they cram so much into 2 hours. If I miss an episode of SmackDown or Raw, I can still usually get what's going on, and there isn't, like 7 segments before the first ad break. The solution is rotate talent more, run shorter, simpler feuds, put a greater emphasis on wrestling. So I'm not saying 7 segments before the first ad break, as I said here, and that way you also get to expose more talent and get more talent to be in that level of draws. And you should, as I said before, you should have guys like Kurt Angle, Booker T. Booker T's doing it, but these established stars working feuds, short feuds with a lot of the TNA homegrown. That way you can get them over as on par with the biggest draws in wrestling, because the draws aren't really doing that much for them. And my last point I'm making this video, because I just don't have that much time, and if I was to go into everything into detail, I would be here for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I don't want to do that because I just don't have the time. And that's keep the product unique. The tagline for Genesis 2007 was a new breed of company, a new breed of wrestler, a new breed in wrestling. Now, and then you look at the main event, and that is the complete opposite of the tagline, because you have Kurt Angle and Kevin Nash versus Sting and Booker T. That is, that is a WCW from 2000 main event. You just replace Angle with Scott Steiner, who coincidentally they also have on their roster. TNA doesn't need WWE, WCW, and ECW, or any big names to be a success. They were successful before they had any really big draws. If you use the talent you have effectively, you can turn those wrestlers into draws, and it will also be a unique product. You need to establish a brand name and your own unique draws that people haven't seen in other companies. People will tune in to see someone they haven't seen before if they hear a lot of buzz around the person, and you're not going to get buzz around the person if the product is focusing on guys we've seen other places, because people already know who they are and they know if they like them or not. So it's these simple type of things that they're not doing. It's not as bad. It's not really that big, those massive problems, but there are so many more of these things that I've gone through in this book. I'm not going to read them now. I may do them in future videos, and I'll also start with WWE and ROH. I have and you may think I'm nitpicking here, but I nitpick with ROH, like how if you watch like the pay-per-views like Respect Is Earned and just the shows, they have these the ROH colours are red, white, and black, and even the wrestlers wear red, white, and black, so everyone's dressed fucking, color coordinated and in a sort of uniform thing, and that doesn't, and that's why a lot of people think that ROH wrestlers are uncharismatic, because they don't have their own unique look, or, because everyone's, to an extent uniform, so they don't get their own uniqueness across. And Crazy Mark's question was, why should we listen to me? My question is, why should we listen to anybody? It's these are all just matters of opinion, and really, why should I have to answer this question? Who are you? You're like the first YouTube shooter now. I'm not trying to be insulting or anything, but why should you? I don't have much experience in the wrestling industry, but then Tenryu didn't have much Barber didn't have much experience booking professional wrestling before he started All Japan. He didn't have much experience promoting before he started New Japan. Everybody has to start somewhere, and this is where I'm starting. And yes, I am declaring my intentions to get more involved in the wrestling industry, but right now I don't have the time for that, so we'll just see what happens in the future. Thank you for watching. I'd like to hear your feedback. Goodbye.